For last year's Christmas special, I reviewed this very awesome, very beautiful Monster Hunter Ichiban Kuji Velkhana. It might be my second favorite dragon so far. The problem, if I can call it that, is one thing that makes it so awesome. Its size. It's a whopping monster. Taking up 37 centimeters across, that's 14.6 inches, 20 centimeters or 7.9 inches tall, 21 centimeters and 8¼ inches deep of shelf space. Fortunately, for those who are short of space and still love the beauty of Velkhana, there are two cool alternatives. One is a medium size and the other on the small scale that you've seen in the figure builders. First, let's look at this Monster Hunter Iceborne Collector's Edition Velkhana. As you can see, compared to Wilson, she's actually pretty small. In fact, even the wild Safari Silophysis looks close in torso bulk. She's 18 centimeters or 7.1 inches tall and 31 centimeters or 12.2 inches across. In terms of size, you can see here next to the creator's model Rathalos. When I think of Velkhana, the one defining word would be sharpness. She's full of spines, no doubt, but you can see that the overall physique is sleek, built on speed, and she's extremely streamlined. That theme of sharpness is admirably captured in this rather small diorama, be it in the dragon herself or the perch full of stalagmites. The general impression of spikiness, not of bone and keratin, but from icicles, is seen throughout the dragon. We have, of course, the head, and you see the slim sharpness of it. And literally sharp too. I've spiked my fingers on this and also elsewhere, so it's not for kids. The multiple nasal horns, and that icy crown of thorns, conveying the impression almost that the entire structure is made up of spike upon spike. The thin slits of the eyes and the mouth, set in its icy composition, only serves to emphasize rather than detract from it. That characteristic spiky eyes collar through which the neck emerges is there as well. And framing the elbows, the knees, and the hocks. We have these spikes you've seen in 1,000 dragons, and yet because of their crystalline structure, they actually look possible because they seem to be externally formed around the joint. And throughout, you can no doubt notice how nicely mixed the colors are, and still maintain the kind of shiny effect throughout the dragon. And this lends regional variety to an ice dragon you don't often see, as most of those tend to be white with some highlight of grey or blue. And speaking of which, we of course have to go up to those wings, where all these points are emphasized. There's a translucence which reinforces the illusion of ice. The very rich texture just serves to break up the light and allow more ways for reflections to happen. And from the back, look at the marvelous crystalline structure seemingly built up over time by the natural accumulation of ice. Again, look at those colors. And as for the edges, just really jagged but forming a border you can believe is natural. Finally, you can see the base. It's also nicely sculpted and topped by layers of snow. Then around here, these stalagmites, framing the dragon so nicely. But also surreptitiously supporting the wing. Speaking of support, there is one here, but it's made of transparent plastic, always a nice thing to see. I just wish the flying figure builders had this instead of that black pole. And actually, just one thing I thought of. Now, color-wise, we generally have freedoms with dragons and monsters that we don't have in dinosaurs, and yet I noticed that with the advent of feathered dinosaurs, we actually might. And here's an example. The PNSO Microraptor. If a dragon and a dinosaur ever stood fittingly next to each other, it would be these two. Or just look at the spread of the wings and also the shimmering quality of those feathers. Alright, how about something even smaller? And for that, we have the Figure Builder Velkhana here. I've shown you some other figure builder models, and you've seen despite how small those are, they're still impossibly detailed and well painted. Well, we have a figure builder version of Velkhana here, and this is it. You can see she's even smaller than the Iceborne, yet even at this scale, the very crystalline structure is beautifully captured. Ice and crystal are still a mainstay of the design, and the very quality of sharpness in Velkhana is expressed even in this small figure builder. You can see from the multiple spikes on the face and the head and down the neck. And that's the only problem I have with this. The headpiece keeps coming off. Bugger. And down to the neck, that collar. Even those tiny eyes and mouth. Then down the front, you see the chest, the arms, hind limbs, and all the various spiky protuberances. And down that multi-pronged tail. And here in the wings. Whoa, just really speaks for itself. The only thing that might be lacking compared to the other two is the more matte appearance of the anterior wings, but that detail is still very impressive. And the color faded very nicely. To the back, it's a little more shiny, but that winning icy texture. And actually, I didn't realize the structure of this as well. It's almost like you have a separate piece here, which... Let me check. Yes, it's here on a medium size too. So, whoa, I've never actually seen the full spread from this angle, and the morphology is just so pleasing. Let me just show you without the head. And here the colors too. Now this tiny figure is 17.5 centimeters or 6.9 inches at the tallest point, at the tip of the right wing. in a span of 13 centimeters or 5.2 inches across. It really is astounding that such exquisite detail can be captured in something as small as this. Now add to that the very dynamic pose, and small or not, this is surely something worthy of your table. Alright, now for a comparison. Let's have all three Velkhanas on the table. And as you can truly see the mixture of sizes. The most equivalent to a creator's model, the Ichiban Kuji. Then the Monster Hunter World Iceborne. And finally, the tiny Figure Builder. You'll see a size to fit any table or space, and all of them do Velkhana justice. So that's it for this video. Very happy to be back with another dragon, and I look forward to showing you more in the future in another video. Have a good week, guys.